Welcome to We're Talking Bears.
where we bring you the latest in the Chicago Bears experience.
I'm Uncle.
Nephew,
And I'm Son.
and we're talking Bears.
There we go.
There we go.
Well, unfortunately, unlike the losses that felt like wins to me, this loss feels like a loss. And it was the Lions. And we're not ever supposed to lose to the Lions.
Man, and not taking anything away from the Lions have had their moments this year. The first few games, they were the number one offense. Then they played decent defense for a couple of games, but they're the Lions. They're inconsistent across the board. We failed to win that game. I mean, we totally, when I say we failed to win, immaturity caused that loss. You know, immaturity on the defense's part, immaturity on QB1. That pick six, man, that was immaturity. You know, he's running around, throw the ball out of bounds. You broke the pocket, throw it away. Live to, you know, like he said it, I'll never do that again. Good. Never do that again. Because that's a free 7 points to the other team. If for what would have been the value if Kmet had actually caught the ball? 5 yards?
Right.
You know,
Right.
maybe a first. You know, come on. You couldn't see. You got 3 guys chasing you. Just just throw it hard as you can, man. Give a fan a souvenir. You know? Give a fan, man. You make somebody happy. Yeah, Justin threw me the ball.
I mean, I think when you see plays like that, though, that's hero ball. He's clearly about to be sacked. He had 2 dudes hanging on to him as he let that ball go. And he tried to weave it over Hutchinson, who was the number 3 overall pick this year or something.
Number
drop
2
it into the basket, or number 2, yeah. So to drop it into the basket for Kmet, you know, that's hero ball. And I think we've seen steadily a decrease of him playing hero ball and seen him just accept what the defense is giving him, take the short checkdowns, take the completions. That's why you've seen his numbers start to go up in that respect. But I'm not super worried about that pick, man. I'm not gonna harp on that.
I'm not worried about it, but here's the danger, and I see the danger, and I see why that happened. We're asking him to play some hero ball. We're asking him to be that Allen Iverson, and we're asking him to go out there and you know, be the guy that gets first downs like crazy. I mean, literally, his first down numbers are off the chain for anybody in the NFL. I mean, you look at Justin on third down this year, just for the whole year. He's run 32 times on third down in 10 games. So that's 3 times a game he's running on third down. He's picked up 290 yards, averaging 9.1 per, and he's got 24 of the 32 first downs. Phenomenal numbers on third down. This is phenomenal. Like guys throwing the ball again. I'll go back to this stat. Bill's quarterback.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen has the highest per pass attempt. It's like 8 yards per pass attempt in the NFL. Justin's getting 9 yards per run on third down. It's better to have him run on third than it is to have Josh Allen throw on third. Okay. Or Mahomes or Brady. It's you're in better shape if he's running on third down. But with that said, he's still got to be able to dial that back to this is not the time for that. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's tough. That's tough.
And what we're asking him to do is really insane. The fact that he is doing even half of what he's doing is frankly like astonishing. Before the season, we looked at what Poles had done setting up this offense. And I think the sentence was something like, he's basically throwing Justin Fields into the worst situation possible and saying, okay, if he can succeed in this environment, then we know he's the guy. That was like his kind of personal test for Justin Fields, it looks like. And man, like when you look at the success he's had in the face of that kind of adversity, it's really just astonishing that he's able to do that much. And you still see him cutting down on mistakes week to week. You still see him cleaning things up with his footwork, cleaning things up with his throwing accuracy, his mechanics, his processing, all of that. You see that improvement, basically on a game-to-game basis. So as far as not being worried about the pick, like I know it was a bad pick. I know he was playing hero ball, but I also know the kind of guy he is. He's not going to take that line down. And that I know he thinks about that more than we do.
Hey, let's look at this though. He was 12 of 20, so he only attempted 20 passes, only threw it 20 times. 60%, not bad. 167 yards, so he's on 12 throws, so he's getting was it about 13 yards a toss, right? 2 touchdowns and the inevitable pick, right? On the ground, he's getting 11.3 again. This is the second week in a row where he's averaging 11 yards per carry, which is, I mean, that's ridiculous. He basically every time he carries, it's almost a guaranteed first down because he's averaging 11.3.
I mean,
you have to be like,
the boy came back after the pick, man. As gruesome as the pick was and untimely, it was a terrible pick. Man, he came back for a 1-play touchdown.
My God.
right. And outran the guy who picked sixth him. He crossed the field, came over in front of him.
I think he faked it to somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm gone."
Man,
one snap, 1 play, and that's to me, that's who Justin Fields is. You get what I'm saying? And I expect him to be that guy. Even though I expect him to cut down on the mistakes, but just that attitude of needing to make up for it. And when he makes that mistake, he wants to come through for his team and, make up for the mistakes that he made. So, I mean, I think that's great attitude to have. Of course, he's still learning. The pick was disgusting, man. I'm not gonna lie.
The pick
something in me felt like, okay, this is your boy. Y'all went to the same school. Maybe you just throw him a bone. And he's like, all right, I'm getting it right back though. I'm gonna take it right back, but I'm gonna give you one.
Yeah, and when you look at it, I mean, when you flat out look at it, first of all, that he's, I don't want to overstate it, but this reminds me of watching Allen Iverson and Michael Jordan play basketball. They were just so much better than everyone else they were facing that it was just like, are y'all playing the same game? Because 11 guys on the defense turn around and look at this guy when he's breaking loose from the 39-yard line, and this dude is gone. I mean, he's parallel with you, and the whole defense is in a panic. They're like, oh my, we're all facing the same direction running, and we're in a panic. And then when they try to use 2 men to stop him from getting in the end zone on that first touchdown, and he lowers his shoulder and puts all 235 pounds into old boy. And that was a safety getting.
He knocked that guy out the game.
And that boy's out. He's out now. Yeah, he did.
He's in concussion protocol.
Look, he killed him.
That was a safety. That was a safety. That wasn't just a regular corner. That was a 210-pound safety. He's supposed to be the heavy hitter.
He put the safety in concussion protocol, man. Like, that's rough. After he broke the tackle of the defensive tackle,
right.
At the same time, while he was breaking that tackle, juked Aiden Hutchinson, the 2nd overall pick, out of his shoes, outran everybody, and then put the safety in. Who is this guy? This guy is like Captain America.
Man, I don't know what the safety was thinking about, but did you see his face on the contact? He was like,
no, I didn't.
He laid there. If you watch the replay, you'll see Justin Fields gets up and the safety is just still laying there, like not moving, just like,
man. When you look at it, I mean, on the flip side, think about that play near the end of the game where the 3 guys sacked him. And, he was just like, I'm not going down. I'm not going down. Then all 3 of them got together to throw him. And it took all 3 of them.
Yeah. And they blew the whistle. They blew the whistle.
They blew the whistle and they still threw him. That flag should have come out. But,
I was going to say, they didn't get him down.
man.
Yeah.
Boy's tough, man.
But
He's
let's,
tough.
I mean, quick review on our offense. You're talking about what did I like? Number one, obviously Justin was phenomenal. But here's the good news: Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery both over 4 yards a carry. David 9 for 37, Herbert 10 for 57. EQ was 2 for 9. He's 4.5 yards. We had 5 running backs, 5 guys run the ball. Everybody over 4 yards a carry. You know, again, we still are a dominant run, and we saw some really great run blocking, just really freaking good run blocking. And they got Aiden Hutchinson's out there and some other good defensive in their front seven. And we were just like, man, we were manhandling them on the line.
Yeah, it makes me not really want Alex Anzalone. Here's a question though. Khalil Herbert now on injured reserve. All of that kind of responsibility falls on Demo. He hasn't looked that great in a lot of his action this year. The system, you know, it was always kind of a question: is he going to be able to succeed? You know, with this style of running, run to the outside, try to cut back, find a hole. You know, as we pointed out earlier, he's more of a power back, relies on making people miss in tight spaces inside the tackles. How do you think he's going to do for the rest of the year?
I'll take that. I'm going to say I actually think he improves, because, you know, the one thing that you always see with power backs, as the game goes on and the hits go on, their numbers grow. You know, you give a power back 8 carries, he's probably walking out there with 50 yards. You give him 20 carries, he's probably got 150. You know, you know, the next 12 carries, people get tired. You know, like my buddy, his dad played with Peyton, and his sentence is, dude, you don't mind tackling some of these guys like once or twice, but you want me to go tackle that same dude another 4 or 5 times? I'm tired of this. You know, I don't want to tackle this guy 8 times in a game. I'm in a lot of pain and I'm tackling him. You know, like old boy that tried to tackle Fields at the goal line. Yeah. Next time he sees him coming, he's probably gonna be like, well, that's a touchdown.
Right. So how do you think that impacts our offensive flow if we don't have, you know, that extra running back who's that talented that can share that load and provide some of those explosive plays? Do you think we go to a more pass heavy attack
I think one, the rookie backup is going to get a chance, you know, and he's got to flash. He's got to show. He's got to be lightning. He's supposed to be lightning, Ebner, and he's got to be lightning. At the same time, yeah, you know, if we're giving the running backs 20 carries, Montgomery's going to get 15, 16. I can see Montgomery getting 100 yards a game while he's out. You know, it's just a different 100 yards. You know what I mean? Yeah. They both get about 10 yards when they carry the ball. You know, it's a different 100 yards when Montgomery's in there. It's a more physical, but I think that works better for the play action. I think that might open up our pass game now that, you know, we got Claypool, Pringle's finally in there. We can finally see what he's looking like. N'Keal Harry. You know, our receiver room is looking better than we imagined it would look. I mean, our receiver room is not bad. It's not a bad receiver room. You know, when we first opened at the beginning of the season, it was basically Darnell Mooney and who the heck, right? But now, I mean, I think, you know, we have some guys that actually have performed well in the NFL in good systems on good teams, right? So yeah, I think it's time to, we don't have to make Justin run as much. I think we can throw the ball more, and we need to. And Justin needs that experience. I want to see him throw 30 times in the game, just because, not to stand there and get sacked, but I want to see, you know, quick slants, quick outs, quick comebacks, and some deep routes. And I mean, you know, you got Pringle, you've got Claypool, you've got Pettis, even you've got a Mooney. I want to see 8 balls going to the end zone, 2 for each of them.
Yeah, I had a question for y'all regarding the offense, right? So we just bring Claypool here, right? I think this game he had, what did he get, 2 catches? I think he had 2 targets, maybe
One catch,
2 targets, 2 targets, 1 catch. I don't have a problem with it, right? If it works, our offense look good. Justin is moving the ball down the field. We run heavy, right? How do you think that bodes for our receiving room? To my understanding, most receivers, they want to get the ball, they want to be able to get yards and get stats. But what if your team is winning and you're not? You get what I'm saying? We were able to win this game without using a Claypool. Do you think that makes the receivers on our team feel less valued, or do you think that does lower their value to some degree because we aren't finding them as much? Or maybe we have the talent there and we're not able to showcase it in that way. Do you think that would make receivers unlikely to want to be here?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I would say in most cases it would. Being a run heavy team kind of has that connotation. That's why Lamar Jackson has such a hard time finding a top receiver, getting somebody like a Devontae Adams to agree to come there by a trade, or luring somebody like OBJ in free agency, when they've got a clear need, for a top flight receiver. So yes, it does make receivers less likely to come to a team with a run first sort of offensive scheme. But when you have a top quarterback, as long as Fields keeps throwing tutties, receivers will show up. That's really what they're looking for, is scoring, getting the numbers, being able to get the ball when it really matters. I think we'll be fine. And I think Poles, he's committed once again, building through the draft. So that's where I think we're going to go and look.
I would say this. Yeah, sure. It's going to make it more difficult. Like it is, it is Devontae not coming to sign up to play in Chicago. It's not happening, right? Just not with this offense. He knows his numbers go through the floor. He's used to being at the top. And other guys like him. But that's not the worst thing in the world. I think that Poles is very smart in how he's choosing receivers. He's choosing big physical receivers to bring in that are really good at blocking for the run, which means they've already committed that I'm cool with this part of the game, right? And so he's choosing that. Now, do we have to, I'm assuming that Getsy, just like, Getsy, who now is letting Fields loose from a running standpoint, is gonna let some of these bombs fly, because but we have to get better at pass blocking. We don't want to sit back on a 7-step drop play that it needs 3.5 seconds for the receiver to get open, and when you're still not very good at pass blocking,
Right.
So they've got to understand as the pass blocking improves, that can open up. You're still not going to get a ton of catches because, if we run the ball for 250 a game, it's hard to lose if the defense plays. That's really, if the defense can hold you to 20, you don't have a prayer, right? If we're running for 250, but so that's going to be, you're not going to get a ton of receptions, but you know what? It's kind of like, the whole deal that we do have. We have some talent in that room, and all of them are willing to block for the run, right, and let the run go first. And, I think that what we have to do is be successful. It's kind of like signing up to play with Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan. You're not getting the ball a lot. So, you're not,
as long as we winning rings, look.
Jordan or Iverson is going to have the ball. Iverson's going to have it for 20 seconds out to 24. Jordan's going to have it for 16 out to 24. But people came to play, top quality talent came to play with both of them because
they knew
of winning.
Yeah.
All right. Because they accepted. And, Yeah, this a generational guy. Let's be, if he continues to show this talent year over year, he's a generational guy. And they sign up to play, running backs sign up to play with Tom Brady. Like knowing, dude, I'm not going to get a lot of action. If I want a lot of action, go to Chicago, right? I sign up to play with Tom Brady. I might get a couple games a year where I get to hit 100 yards, but that's about it. Unless I break one for 75, I'm not going to see a 100-yard game. But they sign up to play with him, because
I think people are missing though. Like when Fields was in Nagy's offense, they were forcing him to sit there and be a drop back passer. And there were games, the Lions game, he had, 260 yards. The Steelers game, he had like 270 yards, something like that. Like the kid can throw. Like at Ohio State, he was putting up 300 yards, 6 TDs through the air regularly. You know what I mean? Like he was putting numbers on people. So it's not like the kid can't do volume passing. I think what Getsy is doing and what his quarterback coach Janocko is doing is smart, is they're putting him in situations that are manageable and bite-sized and bringing him along slowly. And they're giving him right now, he's proven he can be an extremely efficient, he can be Pro Bowl efficiency on limited volume, right? So the last couple of weeks, he's got like 13 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. That's
one interception in the last 3 weeks.
I'm just saying, like his recent stretch of good play.
Yeah,
right?
no, I'm just last 3 weeks.
Even the last 3 weeks, man, it's been like 6 passing touchdowns, 7 passing touchdowns, compared to like 1 or 2 picks. So yeah, so that's Pro Bowl efficiency, right? And that's on limited volume. I'm cool with that for the whole rest of the year. If he can be Pro Bowl efficient on limited volume until 2023, great. And then start giving him more volume once he's had another year of practices in the offseason. Once you got him some more weapons, once you got some better protection, that's when you up the volume. I really don't need to see much more than what they're doing. Like they're putting the ball in his hands enough. They're letting him win with what he feels is his best tool at the time. And that's what he needs.
So what do you guys think about the defensive performance against Detroit?
We had a defensive performance?
I wouldn't call that a performance.
Man, they put 21 on our head in the fourth quarter. Now, granted, I don't remember if the pick was into the third or was it the fourth, but all I know is the defense looked absent, man. The defense looked absent.
Jack Sanborn, though.
And most games when we get to say, you're right. Yeah, Jack Sanborn did his thing. He definitely did his thing. But man, it's terrible to me that even when we get to say, third down efficiency, man, look at the other teams. it's usually somewhere on par, man, and that's bad. That's not a recipe for success. I mean, even though we traded away our defense, a lot of our defense, so that's where we need to put a focus on now. But man, it's rough because I remember not being able to score the ball at all, and it's like overnight they figured that out, and now the defense is in the toilet. So I ain't got much to say. We have flashes.
Let me hit you with this, because when you look at the numbers, the defense didn't play a bad game. They gave up a lot of points.
What numbers are you talking about? The score or some other numbers?
Well, realize
the defense, bad numbers.
The defense gave up 24, which is reasonable. Definitely when you got offense that's scoring 30, that's cool. The pick 6 flipped the game. Right. But Jared Goff throws for 236 and 1 tutty. Not a big deal. Nobody on their rushing group, Jamal Williams, anybody, had 4 yards of carry. Everybody's under 4 yards of carry, 3.5, 3.7. So actually, we did a good job stopping the run in general, overall, not, at particular moments. The only player on the offense that went off was Amon-Ra St. Brown. 10 catches, 119, 10 catches, 119, and 11 yards of carry.
Because we can't get to the quarterback.
Yeah. And actually, that's probably the first time we can say that Jalen Johnson had such a bad day that they got in his head. You know what I'm saying?
And also he was playing injured. He's been bugged by this hip injury or whatever. And then there were several bad penalties, man. I ain't trying to even go into the penalties again, man. It's starting to
Yeah,
get
you're
on
right.
my
We had
nerves.
a ton of penalties.
I would say the biggest problem on defense this was the front seven, and we'll talk about that later on in the episode. But man, not the front seven had a awful showing aside from Sanborn.
I didn't see a defensive performance, man. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. The defense is the questionable part, man. I feel like every game. I'm excited to see what Justin is doing and what the offense has been able to accomplish. But man, like I said, on the defense, I see us having flashes. I see good plays from guys or good play from guys here and there. But as a unit, there's never two things happening right at the same time. Let's just say that.
I think that really comes down to that front seven, like we were saying. So as far as being the heart and soul of a Tampa 2 defense, man, ours is a very, very weak heart and a very suspect soul, let me tell you, because you need that penetration up front to disrupt the passer up the middle. If you don't have that interior pass rush going, then you might as well not be out there. You know what I mean? Our Justin Jones, he'll get to the quarterback on stunts around the outside, which is not what a 3 technique is supposed to do. That's not your job. You know what I mean? Like we just have to manufacture that pressure because we can't get it naturally. So, I mean, all of that, the edge rushers, basically non-existent. Travis Gibson, I think, has 2 sacks on the year, and he got them both in the same game. So I really had high hopes for him coming into this year, and we really haven't seen nothing to justify it. Al-Qadim Muhammad, I don't know how this guy is still stealing checks from the Bears. This dude is like terrible every week. I constantly see him get washed out of run plays, non-existent on pass downs. Man, we don't got nobody up front. Nick Morrow, he trying, but he's just one guy, and he's.
Well, Jefferson looks decent. And, crazy as it is, our undrafted, totally undrafted free agent rookie, he totally led us in tackles and led us in sacks. And man, if they hadn't stolen his pick, he'd have led us in. He led us in picks too. I mean, this is undrafted rookie, 9 tackles, 2 sacks, and it should have been a pick.
It was 12 tackles. It was 9 solo.
9. So right. Okay, my bad. Yeah. So that's absurd for a guy who wasn't even good enough to be drafted. Obviously, he was, and nobody was giving him a chance because he didn't have the NFL numbers. He wasn't fast enough, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, he might not be, straight up.
No. I mean, literally, he's like a 4.7 guy as a linebacker, which isn't slow, but he takes the right angle. He recognizes the plays, and he's a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I mean, there were guys. I mean, when they had the strike. And there were guys that made teams after the strike because they didn't have NFL numbers, but they were quality players. I mean, there's more than a number. Obviously, yeah, it's great to have a guy that runs, a 4.3, but you can have a good receiver. T.O. was not the fastest guy on the field. I mean, he's not slow. He wasn't the fastest guy on the field. And, Jerry Rice wasn't the fastest guy on the field, but they were open all the time. Mm-hmm. They could shake the heck out of you.
Yeah. I mean, it's more the speed than being a good football player.
Right.
I'm just saying from the perspective of you've got an NFL defense. Yeah, we deconstructed it before the season and during the season. But if we end this season and undrafted rookie Jack Sanborn is our best defensive player other than Eddie Jackson, that's a problem.
Don't leave Jaquan Brisker out of there, because Brisker is probably rookie of the year.
Brisker is, I don't know about that, man. Sauce Gardner is nuts.
Okay. But I mean, he's up there in the argument, man.
He's definitely he should be in the conversation. But Brisker has his warts too. He hasn't been playing that well in the last few weeks in coverage. So I want to see him step up a little bit. But I'm just saying, like, it'll be great for Jack Sanborn if he's the best player to come out of this draft class on defense. Not named Brisker or Gordon or whatever, but it would be bad for the defense.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, but I think the defense is starting to gel with who they are. You took away 2 of their captains, mid-season, and and they weren't great. It wasn't a great defense before you took away 2 of their captains, and so they're starting to gel with who they are. I think we got to watch and see. The Dallas game was horrific. This game was not great. But this game wasn't terrible defensively. It just wasn't. The numbers, you look at the numbers, the only guy that went off for Detroit is Amon-Ra. That's it. Everybody else is you'd like love to have quarterbacks come in. Quarterback with 236 who doesn't really run the ball, I ain't worried about you. 236, no big deal. Your best running back had 59 yards.
But that's all it takes to put us away. That was 31 points or 24 for the offense.
That's the problem. That's all it takes to put us away. That's the issue. We've got to be, we've got to give up less points on defense right now. We're from a yard standpoint and from an individual performance standpoint, we're doing okay. But from a giving up points,
we've been averaging a 30 burger on our head every week.
Man, we've been averaging more than that. Yeah, let's talk about special teams for a second, because this is like the 5th game this year that special teams has either cost us directly or played a major role in our defeat. Because we kicked that extra point, we're in overtime. Punt doesn't get blocked, we beat Miami. Velus Jones doesn't muff those punts, we probably win at least one of those 2 games. Like, man, like
we have to rename them not very special teams.
Man, what's crazy is the kicker that we had for 4 extra point, 4 field goals. While Santos was out with the personal family, whatever, it was a personal situation, and he was out that game, that guy ended up on the Lions. He made his extra points.
Oh, yeah. Well, and no argument, but I will roll with Santos.
I'm not against Santos.
Dump Santos over that guy.
If you're going to miss something, I'd rather you miss a couple extra points here and there and never miss a field goal. I'll take that, because 3 extra points is one.
I'm not mad at Santos. I'm just saying the irony and the pain that it brings. It's tough.
But let's talk about the punt. Again, there's more to punting than just distance. There's knowing how to get the ball out of there under pressure. There's quickness of the kick. And we got rid of O'Donnell, who was a phenomenal punter. And who on a bad Bears teams kept us out of trouble with really good punts. And this guy's, when he's good, he's good, but when he's bad, he's terrible. Yeah. And that's, now we're back. I'm tired of this. Kickers last a long time. I'm tired. We did this with Robbie Gould. You get rid of a guy who really has this nailed down, works with the squad well, and is not too old to play the game. And, you're like, all right, it's time for you to retire. We need a rookie so we can, pay less? And then the rookie comes in and it hurts. It hurts. I mean, where you kick the ball, consistency of hang time. This is the thing, like, even on just stopping the other guys from having a run back. If I know your hang time is always 3.8 seconds, no matter how far the kick is going, well, I know when to get there. You know what I mean? I'm like, I time this up, right? So I'm in this guy's face when the ball drops, versus if your hang time is up and down,
Yeah.
You know, this is different. You know, we're taking punishment because we're playing. And then, no offense to my boy Herbert, but he ain't the blocking guy. What's he doing out there blocking on punt coverage, man?
Now
Come
he's
on,
hurt because he was returning kicks too, man.
yeah. I mean, why is he even look? Let the rookie do that. Let the rookie do that. Let somebody who's we got tons of rookie linebackers and stuff, not rookie linebackers, but tons of linebackers that never get on the field. Let them be on the punt block team. Come on, man. Herbert should be exclusively on offense. You know, come on. But he's out there doing it because Velas failed.
Yeah.
You know, let's do. But you could go to Ebner. Go to Ebner. Let Ebner do it. Let him
Ebner's done a few, and he hasn't been great either. That's kind of
but there's a different. Did he drop the ball?
Ebner, no.
No, right. So then let him return the punt until he learns how to do it better. If he's not costing us the game, he might be costing us 5 yards.
But you're probably then running into a situation where you lose the locker room a little bit, because the players that are performing the best in practice situations aren't the ones that you put the ball in their hands in a game situation. And I can understand from a coaching perspective the difference between, you know, how you want to play guys and the difference that maybe the GM has. That's why Velus Jones and N'Keal Harry are scratches. When you really, like, as a GM, you got to find out, like, do I need to replace these guys?
Well, you did, because if they're healthy scratches, that's already a sentence, right? You know, like you're going into an auto race. you ain't scratching our boy in his Mercedes. You know?
Well, yeah,
right. You know,
true.
it's like, no, we don't need him on the. You're crazy, you know. You
Mhm.
going to you playing some NBA 2K, and you play, actually not 2K. You playing some 1990s NBA basketball on the video game. Are you going to be like, no, I don't want Jordan on my team? Come on, man.
Are
It
you
tells
saying
you
that because you're so old you don't know any current players?
It sounded like that. It sounded like that a little bit. It sounded like that.
No, I'm
Not
saying
2K.
that
Let's
because
talk about Live 95.
There we go.
He talk about NBA Jam. That's what he talk about.
There we go. NBA Jam.
That's the last game you remember.
Hey,
Man,
you know what?
you're
There's
right.
nobody worth getting now, right? You know.
Oh man, the kid John Moran is nice.
John Moran is nice. Let him win some.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, if you literally are a healthy scratch, then what, man, you're what, practice squad. See you. You practice squad.
So let's talk about this receiver room, because now this is, you know, they've come up again. Do we think that we have even the building blocks of long-term success there? Byron Pringle has been largely a disappointment when he's been able to be on the field, and a bigger disappointment because he hasn't been able to be on the field. EQ is who the Green Bay Packers thought he was. Dante Pettis, you know, he's you know, he shows up sometimes, but he's not a difference maker. You know, Velus Jones, his struggles are well documented. The only real guy, the only person who's really lived up at all to the billing prior to the season is Mooney, and he's had his struggles this year too. So, you know, obviously we've added Chase, and we don't know how that's going to play out yet. But I mean, it's looking more and more like we need even more help in this room.
Hey, I mean, flat out, when you look at the receiver room, obviously we know we need help. We know we need help. You know, when you sit and look at it, Darnell Mooney, not a bad year so far. I mean, the beginning of the year was terrible. It was flat out horrible. You know, he's, you know, what does he have? 36 catches. So he's averaging 3.5 catches a game. He's got 464, and he's only got 1 touch. That ain't a number one. Let's just tell the truth. but we're also not throwing the ball. So, that's only partially his fault. I think Mooney, yeah, I'm moving forward. I'm not moving away from Mooney. I'm not. Okay.
Yeah.
Chase Claypool, I'm going to ride out his next if he's, if he develops a rhythm with Justin, I'm re-signing him long term. If he doesn't, I'm gonna ride out his next contract. You know what I mean? Because we got to bargain. We got to bargain on Claypool. You talk about N'Keal Harry, you talk about EQ. Honestly, I'm gonna insist that EQ moves in with Mooney over the offseason. He's got to learn how to catch. Because EQ, if he had more sure hands, would be, fine as a number 3 or number 4 on our offense. We need big blocking receivers. And, again, I know catching the ball is the receiver's first job, but I'm going to give him the offseason to see if he can't learn how to catch the ball at this late date in his career.
Dude, he's about to be 28. He's had a ton of off seasons, and
Yeah.
I don't know if Mooney is taking applications for roommates right now. So I don't know if that's he need to just buy his own jugs machine. The dude has probably got more money than all of us combined, so he can afford it. So, I mean,
what are you gonna do with that? And Byron Pringle, again, yeah, his availability is a problem. He needs to show something phenomenal in this next half of the season. He needs to turn some short passes into touchdowns. He needs to be that guy that can catch a 10-yarder and look like he did in Kansas City. If he is, then I think we have the makings of a room if we've got Mooney, Claypool, and Pringle. If Pringle can fight for one of the starting 2 jobs, then I think we got them. But I'd like to see a top flight receiver. I'd like to see us find that Jefferson Chase level rookie. You drop a guy.
Jefferson, that's a tall ass. But man, I love that.
Well, think about when Jefferson was a rookie. He was a phenomenal rookie. Jamar Chase, phenomenal rookie. Drop somebody in there that is going to make Mooney, Claypool, and Pringle work their rear ends off. Because it's like, dude, this guy's about to take our job. That's what I want to see. I want to see that level of receiver that is just like where Justin just wants to sit in the pocket. It's like, man, I'm great running, but this guy.
Right. Yeah, and that's what we need to keep Justin upright because, man, I watched his press conference where he was talking about, man, he just didn't have any juice left at the end of that game. We're like, oh, why are you in the pocket or whatever? I mean, after he done busted 150 yards worth of runs, the man is tired. The man is tired. And eventually that wear and tear is going to break those legs down. And if we want to prevent that, man, we gotta do something about it. And we got to give him some guys that are as athletic as him on the outside. So I think that was the start of what, we kind of tried to do with Chase Claypool. We'll see.
Hey, man, and hence my question. And this is why I asked, because in my opinion, man, I think a lot of times these guys probably, they're there for a reason. They made it into the NFL. So they obviously have some skills that somebody thinks are good enough to be there. And oftentimes I think they probably sit back and say, hey, well, I'm only getting this many looks. I'm only able to get the ball this many times. And I can't necessarily argue with that. I feel like as a professional, I feel like you said, 28 years old, you should be able to catch the ball. But what is it to be said when you're not able to get the ball? You're not able to give somebody those reps that you would want from you get what I'm saying, when you have a receiver like that. Now, granted, the receiver's got to be able to get open, and it all goes to what we talked about the offensive line and pass protection and all those things. And I guess that's my concern. What will the attitude of those receivers be moving forward? You get what I'm saying? Will they want to be here? What will it take for us to actually be able to put it all in their hands to say, hey, now it's on you. We're getting you the ball. We're getting you we have the protection. You have time to get to these routes. You're just not our guy. And you get what I'm saying? I think there's a thin line between that spot and where we're at now. I like Mooney. I think Claypool can be really helpful to us. But I don't want to lose them as well without being able to actually give them the opportunities that they need. You get what I'm saying? To actually have an opportunity to be those guys. Because I don't think we're going to get anybody else that wants to come here, like you said, somebody that's used to being the man, getting their catches, getting their targets, and getting their touchdowns, and we're not even able to move the ball like that. So I think it's imperative that we're able to keep the guys that we have, the ones that are working, right? The ones that are good enough to be here. I think it's important to keep them. I just wonder sometimes what the attitudes of those guys could be when we're not able to actually use them to their full potential.
Well, I mean, look, first of all, when you look, you've got Pringle's on a 1 year, EQ's on a 1 year, Dante Pettis is on a 1 year. Those boys
ain't coming back.
Yeah, those boys are basically cutting themselves. I mean, I honestly, I got to move away from those guys. Maybe again, EQ's got the most performance out of all of them. So, now again, Pringle probably has the most talent out of all of them. He needs to step up. He needs to make this half of the season like, man, you should have been out there. He needs to come for Mooney's job. He needs to come for Mooney's job. He needs to be like, dude, if you're only going to throw it 12 times a game, 6 of them need to be me. And that's the way Pringle needs to come at it, but he's only on a 1 year. So, honestly, the only people we have moving forward are really Mooney and Claypool, which I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that. Maybe if Mooney, Claypool, one of those guys survive, and, Velus should be on the practice squad, man. You got 3 catches, and he's just not ready yet.
You can't put a guy like that on the practice squad. Somebody will snatch him.
Yeah,
well, yeah, I hear you. But
he's too fast. He's too fast.
Hey, on the note of this game, though, man, I need to show some love to my boy. I need to go in the huddle. Y'all know who I'm talking about. My boy, what is it? 5 touchdowns in 3 games, 5 touchdowns.
Cole
Kmet, man. Cole Kmet.
Man.
We've been finding, man. It's crazy because at the beginning of the season, I was like, man, where is Cole Kmet? When are we gonna find him? Where is he at? Why isn't he not getting the ball? And man, he's just been lighting it up lately. And I'm glad Fields is able to find him out there like that, because I always liked Cole Kmet.
Hey, 0 receptions game 1, 0 receptions game 2. He had a nice game against Minnesota, but it wasn't a big deal. 4 catches, 45 yards. That was probably before these last few weeks. And then, had the touchdown in Dallas, 2 touchdowns against Miami, 2 touchdowns against Detroit. Man,
he's
you
finally
talking
showing off that potential he has as a red zone weapon with all that size and that athletic ability from that, that size and strength that he has. Man, it's hard to find a guy that big that moves that well, So that 50-yard touchdown when he spun around to catch that ball, like that was, man, kept his feet, ran off, like, man, solid play from him.
Man. Yeah. So, I mean, he's only got coming up on 274 on the year, but he's got 5 touchdowns. Look, last year he had 600 yards and no touchdowns. If he ends this year with 550 and 10 touchdowns, I'd rather have that, because touchdowns are worth points.
No, absolutely. And especially
and that opens up lanes. It opens up lanes, because especially as you get toward the red zone, you got to find them. Otherwise, JF will find them. And that's a beautiful thing, man. Look, I'd like to see old boy finish the year with 11 tutties.
It'd be nice.
Nice. He's been getting them buckets lately, man. Just get 2 touchdowns a game for the rest of the year.
Boom.
Man, and I'm not gonna lie to you, man. The run has been so wicked, man. He came so wide open on the touchdown you were just talking about, man. He came so wide. The run is so dangerous. It's so dangerous. So now he's just out there having a field day.
Man. Yeah, because the safeties have to leave him alone. And I think the other thing is, now that we have people that are a threat, the Chase Claypool's out there along with Mooney, that second safety can't keep an eye on Kmet unless that's his responsibility.
Right.
If it's a linebacker that's his responsibility, they're like, dude, you got to cover him.
Yeah.
You got to cover him, man.
It
And
takes so much stress on
Kmet-
the defense too.
Kmet's beating linebackers. I mean, that's he may not be able to beat the best coverage guys in the league, and we've kind of seen that, but he's smoking some linebackers, and one-on-one against the safety, I'll take Kmet.
Yeah. And I'll put a qualifier on that sentence from you. I'll say yet. He may not be able to beat the best coverage guys yet, but again, the dude is 23. He's already been in the league 3 years.
Yeah.
He is young. His best football is ahead of him. And that's why I've always told people, keep your head up on Cole Kmet, because, man, the kid is hungry to learn. He's gone to all the tight end U's where Travis Kelce and George Kittle and whatnot are running all these receiver programs for the tight ends, teaching these young cats how to do what they do. He's been at all of them. All of them. So he's gone, just like Greg Olsen, sometimes it'll take a while. Tight ends got to learn how to block defensive ends. They got to learn the protection sets. They got to learn how to pass block. They got to learn how to run routes like receivers. They got to learn how to high point the ball, catch, all the different, man. There's so much that goes in.
There's a lot. And think about
this.
To learn. You talk about Kmet. We talk about the number one run offense in the NFL, the number one run offense. In no small part, that man is out on the field blocking for Montgomery and Herbert, and he's sealing his blocks. Or if he doesn't, that they don't get out the backfield.
Yep.
That defensive end is coming. He's got to seal that block for that linebacker, that defensive end, and he's getting it accomplished. And I mean, we're running like crazy, and so he's getting his blocks. And honestly, in an offense that doesn't pass a lot, he gets 500-600. I mean, 500-600 yards for a tight end is decent. It's decent. But you get 500-600 yards and 5 TDs, you're doing good. And he's got 5 TDs in 3 games. 3 games, he's got 5 TDs.
Yeah.
Man, and we got 7 games left. Don't let him catch a touchdown in each of these next 7 games.
And this is another thing, man, that it's just unlocked by Fields' athleticism, man. Like, just to go back to that basketball analogy, having one guy who's hyper athletic on your team is great. But being able to put 2 guys on the floor together that can play that 2-man game to perfection, that's how you get really elite offense. That's what Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce do. That's what Tom Brady did with Gronk for all those years. Once Kmet and Fields really get their chemistry down and they really get that 2-man game down, you'll see them just manipulate guys. You'll just see it straight up. They'll know what the other person is doing, and it'll be a wrap. And we're starting to see that. We're starting to see that.
And we've got to see that, I think that'll develop with Claypool. I don't see that not developing with Claypool. Honestly, I'm okay with Claypool getting 1 catch last game because we were targeting Kmet. Kmet got 7 targets, his most targets all year. And it paid off because he caught 4 for 2 touchdowns. Dude, give him 10.
Right.
Let him catch 7 for 3 touchdowns.
Right.
I'm cool with that. Spread the wealth. That's enough for one guy. But boom, that is a great back-to-back 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks, man.
Yeah.
And this guy out of Notre Dame, former teammates with EQ and Claypool, he's having a ball on that field.
Yeah.
He's having a ball on that field out here, just less than 2 hours from where they played college, having a ball. I'm sure when they were at Notre Dame, they were dreaming about being in Soldier Field playing some ball, and now they're like, touchdown.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's look ahead maybe a little bit to the Falcons coming up. Are we gonna be crippled without Herbert? Are we gonna open the pass up more? How do you see that game going?
I don't know. I think it'd be kind of similar, man. I think we got a good formula going. I think Justin Fields is gonna set the tone. I still think we'll run the ball well. I think Montgomery, we've seen him in the past, have great running days. Herbert has looked a little bit better this year, but I think Montgomery within the offense, the way it gets rolling, he still looks great at times as well. I don't know. I just think that as long as we stick to the formula we've been having, I think he'll just fill in and probably just carry more of the load. Like you and Unc said, maybe we'll see a little bit of Hebner, the rookie backup. Maybe we'll see some more of him. Hopefully he can, just fill in. I think the O-line does pretty good in the run block. So I think we should be straight. I don't think we're going to notice any steps back in the run in the offense.
Okay.
I tell you what, the Falcons, their run defense isn't terrible. Their run defense is not. Their run offense is far better than their run defense. Their pass defense kind of sucks. It's not terrible, but it's not good. So, I mean, if I'm looking at these stats, I'm going to open up with a whole bunch of dink and dunks. I'm going to open up like we did a few games ago, where I'm just going to get Justin into a rhythm, bunch of short passes, see if we can march down the field, get us inside the 5. Then I'm giving it to Demo and get him started, get him charged in, and kind of get him fired up. But I'm going to throw the ball maybe 8 times the first drive if I can, stay ahead of the chains doing it. Obviously Justin has a green light to run when it's wide open, but I'm gonna probably in that first drive, I want to see Mooney catch one, Claypool catch one, I want to see Kmet catch one, and I want to see Pringle catch one, and I want to see Demo catch one, and I want to see the rookie running back. I keep forgetting his name.
Ebner.
I want to see him catch. I want to see him move that ball around, get these guys involved, catching the ball. And hey, if you need to run to make a third down, get the third down, keep the ball moving. Let's drive the ball downfield. Let's take advantage of a mediocre pass defense, and let's throw the ball and let's get into a rhythm. And then let's run the ball more to take the ball, take the game away. Put a blasting game in there and blast away. Because we're tough. We're tough. You got blasting game in there with Kmet and the front 5. They're going to get tired of a diet of Herbert, and give him 20. Let Justin rest his legs. Let Justin relax.
I would very much like to see that.
Yeah, give him a 20, 25 carries to Demo. Let Demo get 189 yards or 200 yards on the ground and 2 touches.
If he can.
And I think he can. Let him. Let's go. I mean, we know he can. Let's set it up and let's go. Work Ebner in there. Let's see if he can get something done. But I don't want to see Ebner on third down.
No,
I don't want to see him there. Let's not get silly.
I want to see us.
Let's not get silly. Let's not be stupid now.
I want to see us throw the ball more this coming game. I want to see us give Claypool a bigger target share. I think he only had 19 total snaps played on offense last game. And, obviously he's still learning the playbook, but 3 weeks is about a good length of time to have a decent package in for yourself. I want to see him. I want to see what he could do. I want to see Justin let it rip. He doesn't have to throw the ball 35 times, but we're definitely going to need to lean on his arm more than we have in the past if we want any chance of winning this game. And the Falcons are a very beatable opponent. So see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just by the numbers, they're like the 4th ranked run defense. But they're from a passing defense, they're like the are they the 30th ranked passing defense? So we should be able to. I mean, if we can't throw the ball against these guys, that's not good.
We're the number 1 run offense in the league.
With the number 1 run offense
anyway. I don't want to hear that.
We can run the ball. It may be a little bit more of a fight, but okay, we can run the ball.
We'll be okay.
We got Justin Fields out there, man. It's
We'll
not
be
a cycle.
okay.
They don't even be knowing what's going on when he takes off.
And then he's gone. So
we get
100
yards of confusion.
And as good as their run defense is showing up in the numbers, they're still giving up 4.4 a carry. And you don't want to face us giving up 4.4 a carry because Demo or Herbert, they don't know how to not get 10 on first down. It's like, all right, we're gonna balance the offense, dude. You keep getting to the sticks,
yeah.
So I feel good about that. Hey, there's somebody else. We haven't said a lot about Sanborn. We said a little bit about him. I'm still blown away. 2 sacks.
Yeah,
The
he played
pick.
good. That was a good game.
Leading the D in tackles. Man, come back, do it again.
That's what I want to see from him.
Come back, do it again.
Just build on that performance.
Come back, do it again.
I saw some plays, where he, took some false steps, got out of position a little bit, still played like a rookie a little bit, but overall, very positive from Sanborn.
Let's obviously, like Roquan, he was the best player on our defense, but this guy is taking it. Nobody told Sanborn that he's not supposed to be able to fill those shoes. He doesn't know.
He should, and that's how he should play.
Right.
That's absolutely how he should play.
Nobody told him, hey, dude, there's no way you fill this guy's shoes. And Sanborn, next man up. Sanborn's like, hey, I played D1 college football too.
Right. Absolutely.
I went out and tackled someone. I tackled Justin. Right.
He
did in Wisconsin. He tackled Justin. So you're like, no, I know how to tackle some people. I done tackled that boy, and y'all have a hard time doing it.
Everybody has a hard time.
Right.
Everybody.
Right. So, man, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Man, well, I'm uncle.
I'm nephew.
I'm son.
And we're talking Bears.
Yes, sir.
All right.